Alright guys, a few new systems I picked up today. For starters, got myself another N64. Once again, you guys know I like to have two of everything, and I've always only had one N64 and one power supply. And the thing is, you always want to have more than one power supply, because they're often, they're often the thing that burns out. I mean, I've got a few Genesis power supplies that are burnt out, or the wires get a break in them, and you wiggle the wire around and the thing turns on and off. It's always good to have a secondary power supply. So I picked up this secondary N64. I got this for $20, and this is the smoke one. It's a clear, I don't know if you can see that, but this is actually a see-through smoke color, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of different color N64s, and I've always wanted to get either the see-through orange one or this one, the smoke one. I always like the way this smoke one looks. I think it looks very badass. It doesn't have the 4 meg expansion pack in it, but it does have the jumper pack in it, so hopefully it works. I haven't actually tested it yet, but I'm gonna clean it up and do that Japanese mod to it so it'll play the Japanese games, and then we'll play some Diddy Kong Racing on this. So the next video that I'll do after this will be a review for Diddy Kong Racing to celebrate having this new N64, and hopefully it works. So we'll see. And for my second system, I brought out my Intellivision to give you guys a clue as to what it is. Although, son of a diddly, I'm sure the title of this video already gave it away. This is an Intellivision, and I've already reviewed the Intellivision. I showed you guys the Intellivision. This came out in 1979. This was the first 16-bit home video game system. That's right, I said it in my review, and I'm saying it again. The Intellivision has a 16-bit processor in it. Once again proving that bits don't mean shit. Really, on their own, doesn't mean anything, especially when we're talking video game systems. And I can go on and on about that, but it's just the facts, okay? This is a 16-bit system, but it came out in 1979, obviously to compete against the Atari 2600. And this is a pretty good system. The few problems they had with it was sometimes the power supplies would burn out, and it's an internal power supply. This is this is the power plug for it here. It's an internal power supply. So if the power supply burns out, you're kind of screwed. Got your power and your reset buttons here. There's no power LED. Obviously, you know when it's on because it's switches over, but there is no power LED or indicator. And the other problem is the controllers are hardwired, very similar to a Famicom, which is retarded. I mean, we all know that when the controller gets worn out on this, chances are it's going to be hard to find a replacement controller. You would have had to probably bring it to like a certified Mattel dealer and maybe have them change the controller out for you. So that was the problem with hardwired controllers. Well, so what did I pick up today? This is the Intellivision II. And this came out a few years later. I'm not sure if it was 82 or 83, but it was somewhere in that area. I believe it came out in 1983, although this one on the bottom does say copyright 1982 on it. So it may have been finished maybe late 82 or something. I'm sure some of my older viewers who are more into the Intellivision and stuff like that will maybe have a better idea of the exact date when this thing came out. But as you can see, this one's in perfect condition. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. I haven't cleaned it. I literally just got home, just picked this up. Same with the N64. Hadn't tested the N64 yet, but I haven't cleaned them yet. So other than maybe a little bit of dust on this one, a little bit of dirt, it's certainly going to clean up. You can tell there's nothing permanent on it. It's nothing broken on it. It's in very good shape. It has the Intellivision II logo here on it, and Mattel Electronics. Very nice graphics on it. It's a very nice looking system. Now what they've done is they've integrated the power and the reset button into one. It's an electronic button now. You push it to reset, you hold it to turn it off, and they've actually added a power LED. And this is the only time I can think of when they make the smaller, cheaper replacement. This was cheaper to manufacture. There's actually less electronics inside of it. It's got consolidated, and you know, like most systems, they make them smaller and cheaper. They hardly ever go. They usually have an LED originally, and then it gets taken off. Like if you look at the SNES Junior, there's no LED. You look at the NES top loader, there's no power LED. So this is a rare instance where the original had a power LED, or didn't have a power LED, sorry, and the next one had a power LED. So far so good. But the best part of the Intellivision II is removable controller ports. Now this is good for a few reasons, because for one, obviously, when this controller wears out, you can find a replacement controller, and bada boom bada bing, this pulls out. It's a standard 9-pin Atari style controller port, and you can change the controllers. It's also good for another reason, is if you wanted an accessory like a light gun or something, you could actually use it. You know, they certainly were not thinking when they did that with the hardwired controllers. See, at least with the Famicom, they had hardwired controllers on it, but they put that third controller port on the front, and that was for the light gun, or like the running pad, or any kind of accessory, Rob the Robot, etc., etc. But on the Intellivision, they hardwired the controllers. There's no extra controller ports. They literally screwed themselves for accessories. I mean, if you wanted a light gun, if you wanted a steering wheel, if you wanted some other kind of joystick, there was no way of doing it. So that was horrible, horrible design. So once again, now you got removable controller ports, and you know, the ability to change the controllers, which is just, you know, common sense, really. So the Intellivision II, I mean, it's obviously a lot smaller. It doesn't have a built-in power supply. That was the other thing. Like I said, this one has a built-in power supply. Sure, it's rare that it's going to burn out, but if it does, it's a problem. This one just has a standard, like basically a Genesis. I think it's a 9-volt power supply that plugs in the back. So much smaller, built-in power supply, or not built-in power supply, removable controllers. It's all good, right? Well, pretty much, but there's one small problem with the Intellivision II. It actually doesn't play some of the games that the Intellivision plays, and this is actually mainly games made by Coleco. Basically, the Intellivision had a few games that were actually developed by Coleco for the Intellivision. Off the top of my head, I can only think of one, and that's Donkey Kong. There are a few others. So there are a few Coleco developed Intellivision games that don't work on the Intellivision II. And I guess that was kind of a thing at first, where Mattel pretended like, oh, you know, why aren't your games working on our Intellivision II? I think they eventually got caught for. They actually did that on purpose, basically. There's actually, you know, there's actually a system in here that checks the cartridges for. There's something in the boot up of the cartridge, and it's something that the Coleco games didn't use, and so basically intentionally Mattel made it so the Intellivision II didn't play the Coleco games. Yes, I did get a few games with it. I forgot to mention that. I got Burger Time and Space Armada. Now this looks, just by looking at it, it looks like a Space Invaders clone. So I haven't tried that yet, but I did get Burger Time out to test the system. It does work, by the way. Put the games in the side, just like the original way of putting the games in. But anyways, turn it on. Now this has the overlays with the games, and these slide over the numeric pad. So as you can see, this is the Burger Time overlay, and you hit enter to start, number of players, 1. Do 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 do. And there you go. There's burger time, which I have not played in a very long time. I'm playing with one hand, by the way. But yeah, it works perfectly. The controllers work, and they're interchangeable. So there may be other controllers for this system that work. Maybe Genesis controllers work. It is the same Atari 9-pin connection. So now, once again, like I said, this is the reset button, and that just resets it if you press it. And you gotta hold it down for, I don't know, 5 seconds or something, and it shuts off. So pretty good switch there, pretty neat idea. Overall, the Intellivision II is definitely an improvement, other than those few games that don't work. And that's it.